Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio, and today I want to take on a management topic. I want to talk about leadership. What makes a great sales leader? Now, look, I've read many books on leadership, and pretty much they all say the same thing. So I'm not going to disappoint you. I'll probably say all the same thing, things you already know. But what I want to do is add a certain spin, a certain twist on what these top leadership traits of a great sales manager should be. The first one is a leader has to have a good vision. Now, it's got to be a solid vision. Now, again, you've heard this before, but let's talk about what that really is. Many years ago, when I was taking over Latin America, we were at $14 million in sales. My job was to grow the region. Before that, nobody had ever surpassed $14 million. Within 2.5 years, we were up to $98 million in annual revenue. Now, what happened between 14 and 98? Vision. When I presented the vision of what I wanted the region to look like, what I wanted my territory to look like, how I wanted it to function, how I wanted it to operate, what were the rules of engagement when we deal with customers and when we deal with each other as salespeople, I defined all that up front. I had a vision for how I wanted this thing to work. Think of a party. You're organizing a party and you want it to work or go and flow a certain way. Now, again, not everything works out perfectly, but you can control maybe 80 to 90% of what that vision will look like. So having a vision is really about giving a blueprint some texture. By texture, I mean really explaining how is this going to work? How do all the pieces fit together? How do the different territories work together? How do we support the different territories? And how do we as salespeople in the region, how do I want them to work, collaborate together? So you really have to lay out that vision because vision is top down. How your manager thinks is how the field is going to react. So having a great vision is actually the most important thing before beginning any type of sales approach. Now, the second thing is, you have to command respect. If you're a sales leader, you have to command respect. Again, let's add some texture. What does that mean? Well, that means you as a leader, it's great that you can be charismatic. It can be great that you have a vision, but here's what salespeople are looking for. They're looking for a leader they want to respect and follow. Yes, they want to respect and follow you, but here's the 3 things you need to know. You need to really understand what you're selling. You need to understand the products. Too often, sales managers don't take the time to learn the product. The salespeople know the product, but the sales manager doesn't feel it's their responsibility to know the products. I think that's a mistake because when your salespeople realize you don't know the products, well, it really doesn't encourage them. In fact, I would say that the sales manager, in most cases, in many cases, let's push it all the way, in every single case, should know more about the products than the actual salesperson. You want to command respect? Know more than your salespeople. Know the products better than your salespeople. But beyond the product, also know the market. What's going on in the market? Really analyze from a strategic level what's going on in the market. Because many times your salespeople are going to come to you and say, look, my territory's not doing well. And maybe you'll be able to give them a market perspective. Maybe you'll be able to give them a product perspective because you understand the product. Or maybe you'll be able to give them a sales perspective. Maybe they're doing something wrong. These are the things that people are looking for. This is what your salespeople want from you. Know your product, know your process, know the market, know these things. That's what they're looking for. The next thing they want to know is, do you have a big picture in mind? Now, this ties into vision, but it's kind of different. Vision is where you want the market to go. The big picture is where does this all fit? How does it all work together? How does this territory integrate with the larger piece of the company? In other words, where do we fit? Now, one of the things I used to love to do with my sales team every quarter when we got together is to review the numbers for our territory, but also review how our numbers contributed to the whole company, the impact it had on the company. And I also talked about what other territories were doing. I wanted my salespeople not to just be so focused or so myopic looking at their own territory. I wanted them to understand the big picture, what's going on throughout the rest of the company, but more importantly, Where was the company going? That's the big picture. What does our company want to do? Where do they want to go? And it's important, critical, that you make this clear to your salespeople. Teaching them what the company's doing, why they're doing it, really helps them understand how they fit. And this is, again, part of the big picture. Also, you got to be able to change directions. Now, let me say that again. You got to be able to adjust, be flexible, and change direction. The best sales leaders know that they've tried something for a while and they just simply know when to stop, end it, and change direction. Only an insane, person who doesn't want to give up, who's so committed because of ego, will continue down a road because they feel that they need to do that. The best sales managers know, pull back. Look, this isn't working. Let's retrench. Let's rethink about this. Let's analyze it. Maybe I was wrong. Yes, it's okay for a sales leader to say, you know what? I was wrong. I thought we were going to go this way, but I think it's better if we do it this way. It's okay to do that, but it's really okay to change direction. Continuing down a road that you know isn't working for you is never going to help you or your team. So again, it's okay to change directions. Now, the other thing is, don't be afraid to really talk to your people and also point out certain things. Now, a good leader never blames people. Don't blame your people because, again, you as a salesperson, you're the one that has full accountability for that number, for the region, for the territory, for your people. So I've seen sales managers blame one of their salespeople because they didn't hit their target number, which affected the overall number. Look, at the end of the day, you're the sales manager. You're responsible for that number. If a salesperson failed you, maybe it's because you failed them. Maybe they didn't have the proper training. Maybe if they didn't hit their number, the number in the first place wasn't realistic. You gave them a bad quota. And this leads me to the last one, motivation. The best sales leaders really know how to motivate people, especially salespeople who are having a hard time or are struggling. They're in that dip where nothing's going right. They're not closing sales. The sales cycles are longer than they expected, and they simply don't know what to do. The best sales leaders know how to really motivate, talk to their salespeople, get them back on track, get them focused. I've talked about this in my past podcasts. There's one on, I think it's titled Struggling with Salesperson, How to Deal with a Struggling Salesperson. Listen to that podcast. I show you how you can help a salesperson who is struggling in the territory to get back on track. I give you a blueprint. I walk you through the process as a sales manager. So again, let's go over the 7 traits of a great sales leader. 1, as a sales leader, you have to have the vision. You got to know where you want to take your team. 2, you got to command respect. The only way to command respect is to know your product, know your people, and know your process. Also, again, emphasize the big picture. Let them know where they fit in as part of the company, but also let them know where the company is going. Where does the company want to go? By understanding that, salespeople can have a better conversation with their customers when they're asked the question, hey, what is your company blueprint? Where are you guys going? What are you going to be developing over the next 4 or 5 years? Well, if they understand the big picture from a corporate perspective, they can have more intelligent conversations with their customers. Number 4, it's okay to change direction, to admit failure, acknowledge that, you know what, this isn't going right. Don't be like the ostrich who sticks their head in the ground when things go bad. No, acknowledge that things aren't right. They're not right. We need to fix them. And that's what salespeople want to hear. Leaders admit when it's not going right, let's change direction. Also, it's okay to point out problem areas, but make sure that you don't blame your salespeople. Don't blame salespeople for not executing on their sales. If they failed, it's because you failed them. You didn't give them the proper tools. You didn't give them the proper training. You did not help them. Last but not least, let's talk about motivation. Remember, you have to motivate your sales team. You as a sales leader, you have to be positive. You have to go out there with let's kill this thing. Let's go out there and make it happen. You have to transfer that energy to your people to let them know that, hey, you're there with them. You're going to help them through the struggle. You're going to push them through. And that is what a great sales leader is all about. That's it for this Sales Influence podcast. Don't forget to leave me some feedback on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Let me know what you think. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, check out my sales training website, Seminars on Selling, where you'll find great training videos for you and your team to help you grow your business to make more money. All right. Lastly, I want to thank you for listening. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care.
Every manager can feel it. The difference between a motivated, value-driven sales team and one that's stuck in a rut. CEOs know the difference too. They can see it clearly in the profit and loss columns. The question is, how do you get your team to this elite level? Is there something extra you can do to break through the remaining resistance and equip them with the right mindset to grow your business? Yes, there is. But you're not going to do it with one of those cheesy inspirational speakers or some self-proclaimed guru. What you need is someone with a real business track record to deliver key insights in a captivating way, to give your team the right tools for selling in today's tough marketplace. Enter Victor Antonio, experienced executive, innovative thinker, compelling speaker. He's ready to deliver the message you need your people to hear. Not with a canned speech, but a customized, dynamic keynote designed to deliver results. Bring Victor Antonio to your next event before the competition does.